Aloha and welcome back to A Little Bit Unglamorous. I'm your host, Erica Renee, and it's Christmas, as you can see by my Christmas tree behind me. This is probably the earliest I have ever had a Christmas tree before, and it's also the biggest Christmas tree. No ornaments yet, but we have a million lights, and I'm really excited for it. So we get to have a Christmas tree all of December, and it's a real tree. I grew up with real trees. I just feel like they smell so good, and there's just something nostalgic about having a real tree. And I think we're going to work on getting some sort of filler ornaments. I was mentioning in the last episode that I wanted to start a new tradition where every year we get one special ornament, and I'm really excited because we actually found it the other day at one of the mall type things around here, and they had custom Hawaii ornaments, and we kind of got one. It was blown glass in the shape of a heart, and it said Hawaii on one side and had a bunch of sand in it and little Hawaiian things, and you could also get it customized for free. I thought it would be an extra charge for sure, but so we put our little names on it, and I'm very excited for that. So tradition is going strong, starting year one. And I really wouldn't even mind if that was the only ornament on our tree this year, but the tree makes me so happy. It's the largest tree I've ever had. I don't think I've really ever had a tree that was much taller than me. I think this one's like 7 feet tall. We have a pretty high ceiling here. And last I left you, we had a lot of things that went on. We had the ball, we had Thanksgiving, and so we got a lot to update on this episode. And as always, I'm filming during dinner time apparently, so we're gonna have to pause. I got eyes on me. Yes. And we're back. So special thanks to my boyfriend for getting me this beautiful tree behind me. He woke up the day after Thanksgiving bright and early, was the first in line with every dad that lived in the immediate area, I think, fighting for a Christmas tree. So I'm very, very happy. It makes me so happy when I wake up every day to the tree and we have the lights on all day long, and it's just such nice ambiance. I think Christmas season is officially starting early this year. I feel like we all need it. I've already watched The Holiday, which is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I also love Elf, and I need some other holiday recommendations because I feel like I'm going to be streaming a lot of Christmas movies. Oh, also, the lip I'm wearing, I've actually been excited to wear for probably a couple of years now. I don't know if you can hear the little clickety-clacks of the feet on the floor, but we have very loud floors, and so you can hear the little dogs running around. And it's always playtime, always dinner time, always something while I'm filming to my audience of 2. And they're very vocal sometimes. So I've been excited to wear this lipstick probably for 2 or 3 years now. It is, I wouldn't call it quite sparkly. It's kind of like a velvet metallic red, and it is a color that Jeffree Star did, and it was sold out for the longest time. So I figured, you know what? Throw on a red lip for the pod. It's Christmas season. Of course, I am using my tried and true Natasha Denona. I think the shade is called Amelia. It's like my new favorite bullet lipstick, but so you got a lip of the day. And okay, so this week on Netflix, there's this Squid Games reality show that we started watching the other night, and to be honest, it's not that good. It's very predictable, and the dramatic moments are very drawn out, but I feel like it's one of those things that we started and now we're committed to, and we have to finish just for the principle of it. I think it's the closest thing that we have to season 2 of Squid Games, because when I discovered the first season, I started watching it, and then halfway through the first episode, I stopped watching it immediately because I knew my boyfriend would love the show, and so now we watch it together. But I think season 2 is filming Since I spoke to you last, we also had the Marine Corps Ball, which was a lot of fun. They had it over in Waikiki, and the venue was gorgeous. It was such a picturesque view. If you looked right outside from the, the ballroom that we had rented, it was just Waikiki Beach, and we got a couple of pictures. They turned out so good, and I was talking about how had to get my dress hemmed last minute. I'm telling you, the small mom and pop shops are the way to go. It turned out perfect, flawless. It was done on time, and it was honestly just a really good night. The only thing about the venue is it was kind of small. I feel like for the amount of people that they had there, they had all of these huge tables, and then some of the tables were, they had all of the windows and doors open, but there were tables that were outside, so I felt bad for the people that had to sit outside. I think I also underestimate how many people live in the Honolulu, Waikiki area. There are so many high-rise buildings here, and it just is crazy to me how bad the traffic is here. A lot of the roads are two-lane, and it's very picturesque. I've never seen such green mountains in my life, and I never realized it, but it rains a lot here. I don't know if it's because I'm here during the winter season, but it will rain for about 10 minutes and then stop. I think that's why it's so humid, and then also why it's so green here, but nevertheless, it's gorgeous. So while I've been here, I've been determined to have a drink and a pineapple, which I believe I said I did. And I think I still have the pineapple actually in the freezer. It's probably past its prime now, but I was saving it, and many of pina coladas were drinking out of it. And drunk. But I also really wanted to try ahi poke while I was here, and I have a weird relationship with raw fish. I don't love sushi. I think it's more of a texture thing for me, but I love poke for some reason, which is raw tuna. I don't get it. I can't explain it honestly, but while I was here, I wanted to try it just to say that I tried ahi poke in Hawaii. So I got to do that the other night, and I was very excited. However, I will say the food in San Diego is superior. I'll give San Diego that. There's literally anything you can ever want there, and it's a little more limited here. So, however, the only thing I also noticed is I was at the grocery store the other day, and I was able to get kimchi for $3, which is normally $7 in San Diego. So it's probably the only thing you can get in Hawaii that's cheaper than on the mainland. We also had Thanksgiving last week. I'm feeling really exuberant with my hand gestures today. I'll try to control it, but so we had Thanksgiving last week, and we were hosting it at our house, and we pulled it together without too much heavy legwork. We got the place cleaned. We had so many people come over. It was 20-something people at least, a bunch of kids. I don't even know the exact count of people because some canceled last minute. Some people brought more people last minute, but it ended up being such a good time. I've been eating leftovers, like way too many leftovers. One of our friends made smoked macaroni and cheese, and oh my God, we ate the whole thing. One of our other friends made not one, but two pecan pies from scratch. And I've never really been a fan of pecan pie. I know it was my dad's favorite growing up. And it's also coincidentally my boyfriend's favorite, which I always think is so funny because he's not typically into sweets, and that's the sweetest pie you could possibly pick. But this pie was so dang good. We actually had to give half of the leftovers back to our friends because I kept eating it for breakfast every morning, and then I felt very guilty afterwards. So no more pie. I finished the last bit that we had, and it was absolutely amazing. Also, if you're wondering, my stuffing turned out good, and I'm really proud about that. So during Thanksgiving, we were mostly just hanging out, having drinks. The food was cooking most of the day. We were aiming to eat around 3 o'clock. We had a turkey, we had a duck, we had a ham, all of it somehow turned out great, and everything went off without a hitch. And we were watching, I think football was on the TV, and I was watching the halftime. Dolly Parton was performing, and she was wearing this very cute, like, Dallas Cowboys, an exact dupe, honestly, of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders costume. And Dolly is 77 years old, and she looks absolutely phenomenal. I want her doctor. I want to look like her when I'm her age. She absolutely killed it, as always. Is it me, or did we all just collectively agree that Black Friday didn't happen this year? Because I feel like it wasn't a big to-do. I don't really know anybody that went. There were no deals I really wanted. And can anybody really afford Black Friday right now? Is it just me? Because I feel like collectively everyone just decided it was canceled. Also, an update on the audiobooks. As you know, it's my current obsession. I've discovered there's a caveat with the Spotify audiobooks. You are limited to, I believe it's 14 hours. 15 hours a month, something like that. Anyway, I hit the maximum, which tells you how much I have been obsessed with audiobooks. I finished the Britney Spears one, I finished the Jeanette McCurdy one, and I just started Juliet Fox's audiobook, Down the Drain, and I love that she also narrates her book. And I honestly don't know what I'm going to do for the next 10 days because my cycle for audiobooks doesn't renew until then. So that's pretty much been my entertainment all day long. I just have it in the background with legitimately everything that I do. I just listen to the audiobook, and then sometimes I have to rewind it because I'm too busy paying attention to something else and I feel like I missed something, so it'll take me longer to listen to it than it should. So let's get into some pop culture. Last week I saw that Tana Mojo was in Oahu, and she took some really cute pictures on the beach, and I couldn't believe I was in Oahu at the same time as Tana. I just love her on Trisha Paytas's podcast. I think they are an amazing duo, and how crazy would it have been if I ran into a celebrity? I feel like most of them go to Maui, so I'm on the wrong island to run into anybody, I feel, but what a coincidence is that. And I also notice a lot of people I follow online, so I follow a lot of travel influencers, and a lot of them are taking trips to Hawaii soon. Apparently Hawaii is the place to go in 2024. I want to talk about Taylor Swift, as always. So my Taylor Swift update of the week, I want to talk about her international leg of the tour. As you know, she recently just finished her South American tour. So she was in Rio De Janeiro, and she also was in Sao Paulo, so Brazil. And she rounded that off, and unfortunately she had a tragedy happen at one of her Rio De Janeiro shows. I believe it was the very first night. So most of the international venues, they are standing room only. So if you're not familiar with concert stadiums and how they work, because I know I wasn't. I just got lucky with the stadium I went to. It was brand new. It was gorgeous, clean. Everything was very organized well. Apparently with a lot of the international stadiums, they are standing room only, especially I guess in the lower bowl area. So you're paying for a general admission ticket and you're just standing in the pit. And I don't know about you, but I cannot imagine standing for the 3+ hours, more than that if you consider the openers. I cannot imagine standing through Taylor's entire show. It just seemed so insane to me. So one of her fans actually passed away from heat exhaustion at the first night of her show. Her name was Anna Benavides, and there's actually a video of Taylor performing, and she looks like she has to stop herself from passing out. She looks exhausted. If you look at her outfit, it's just covered in sweat. And it was apparently one of the highest recorded temperatures for Rio de Janeiro that day. And apparently as well, the venue, so some venues are open air venues, some are partial hybrid ones. I believe this venue was a hybrid, so it has the ability to open air vents and close them as needed. And apparently the air vents were closed which made the inside of the venue even more hot. At one point, Taylor even stopped the show and was trying to get water to people. She was actually physically tossing water to the crowd, telling people on the sidelines, telling her security, get these people water. Over there, they need water. The venue denied outside water entry, and then they also priced the individual waters insanely high. I think it was like $10 a bottle or something ridiculous, which honestly is not a surprise because a lot of venues do that in the USA. They try to monetize water at these big events, but I honestly think that's a crime. That should not be allowed. And after this whole tragedy happened, not even that, but it took internet backlash for the venue then to offer free water the following concert dates, and then also allow outside water and food to come into the venue as well. So I'm not sure if Taylor reached out to the family in regards to expenses to the funeral or anything like that, but I know she invited them to a following show, which feels kind of odd to me, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, it's kind of one of those weird situations because it's not directly her fault, but it was her event. And it's one of those situations where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, it seems like an odd situation. I do know that Taylor has reached out to other fans in the past for fans that have passed from a chronic illness. So I wouldn't be surprised if she has done something like that in private. But overall, the whole thing was just such a tragedy. And I do think that the venue should be liable for that. I know I said that Black Friday was canceled, but I also wanted to touch on Taylor Swift Black Friday. And I know I had mentioned I was excited because in prior years they had $10 t-shirts you could buy from her Reputation album. And I was excited to see what they were going to release this year. And my wallet is very happy to announce it was an awful deal. Friday, they put up some of the Eras Tour merch, and it wasn't even for a very big discount, and it wasn't anything high in demand like the crew necks or the quarter zips or anything like that. People actually were making fun of it online, which I thought was hilarious. And then for Cyber Monday, they actually did put up a lot more stuff at 13% off, and none of it was really appealing to me. I'm saving all my money for all of the Rep TV merch, and I am so excited. Also, people honestly thought she was going to announce it on the last date at Sao Paulo on her concert, and I even started believing it as well, all the crazy fan theories. Here's my theory. I think she's just going to drop it in February. I believe the February theory. I think she's going to drop it and not say anything. You heard it here first. Also, apparently the Eras Tour movie is going to be streaming for rent. Not even for free yet. I know it's got to be coming for free because I'm not paying another penny because I've already paid to see this concert 3 times now. So unless I'm owning it, there's no freaking way I'm going to pay to rent it. So I'm going to hold out. Hopefully it'll be on Amazon Prime to stream for free. Moving on to some internet headlines I've seen recently. One I saw made me upset, and it is Adriana Lima. She was a Victoria's Secret model, I believe a Brazilian Victoria's Secret model, the most gorgeous woman. And I think she was a model for like 10 years. I remember back in the day, I used to work at Victoria's Secret. How long ago now? Over 10 years, a long time ago, and she was still modeling. She recently retired probably 3 or 4 years ago now because she started a family. So there was this article going around that says Adriana Lima had bad plastic surgery. People are claiming, or at least the headline was claiming, that she had a facelift, which if you look at the photos is absolutely outrageous. This woman, I think, has been pregnant for the last 3 years in a row. So, she's gained a little bit of weight. Her face is rounded out a bit. It looks nothing like a facelift. That's just how people age. That's just how women store their fat when they gain a little bit of weight. She's been pregnant for the last 3 years, for God's sake. So that actually made me really livid because she's still freaking gorgeous, and she looks by no means does she look bad at all. She's just not Victoria's Secret skinny anymore, which She shouldn't have to be. She has retired, she's moved on, and she's freaking beautiful and living her best life. Another outrageous headline of the week. This one's a little bit more comical. Taco Bell employee sues Taco Bell for their holiday Christmas party, claiming people got insanely drunk and it turned into an orgy. What did I tell you about the holiday Christmas parties? If I can give you the biggest piece of advice, just skip the holiday Christmas party or don't. Celebrity babies. I feel like as I was typing out my notes of things I wanted to go over today, I realized so many celebrities are having babies right now. I needed a whole section to talk about it. So first and foremost, Trisha Paytas, queen of the internet. She announced she's having baby number 2, and I am so happy for her. This is a woman that has cried on the kitchen floor for the last 10 years thinking she would never find love, and now is married to the most perfect human, and they have the happiest little family, and just seeing her evolve into such a peaceful, happy person has made me personally so happy because I have followed her for that long. I love her. And I know she has the most quirky personality and baby names, and you just think, oh my God, of course, only Trisha. But she plans to name her baby, whether or not it's a boy or girl, Elvis. Yes, Elvis. She named her first girl Malibu Barbie, which is actually the most adorable name. I mean, I can see why people are afraid to announce their baby names out of judgment. So a lot of people usually wait until after the baby comes. So that way, I mean, the baby's already named that. You can't say, oh, I hate that name after it's already been done. And also, apparently, name stealing is a thing, which is so strange to me. But Trisha has put it out there for years. She said, I'm going to name my baby Elvis. And I think she actually said Barbie or Malibu Barbie too in videos. So she has put it out there from day one, staying true to her word. And anyway, I'm so happy for her. Another celebrity, Paris Hilton, out of nowhere said, hey, I have another baby girl. So she had a surrogate for her first baby and apparently wanted a second one. I feel like she just announced her baby boy, and his name is Phoenix, and she just announced her second baby was born via surrogate, a baby girl, and she named her London, which I love because she's going with the city and places theme for her names because her name is Paris. And also I like the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody reference. I don't know. I mean, she probably didn't do that intentionally, but who remembers the old Disney show, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and they all lived in this hotel, and a hotel heiress lived there, and her name was London Tipton. But she apparently didn't even tell her own family that she was pregnant. There's this clip circulating online that I watched, and she is introducing her baby girl to Kathy Hilton, her mom, and she's basically apologizing to her, saying, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I just felt like my life is so public and I didn't want people judging my child before it was even born, which I think is very valid. I also saw recently on the internet people were teasing her baby boy for having a large forehead, which babies look like babies when they're born. They look crazy. They're little teeny aliens, and also to tease a child, that's just in such bad taste. But Paris is gorgeous. Her husband's good looking. Their children are without a doubt going to be models or something like that because they are gorgeous, and I'm happy for her. Also, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker had their baby, and they named him Rocky. So yeah, so many celebrity babies. Moving on back to Christmas. So Mariah Carey has officially defrosted, and she's officially promoting All I Want for Christmas Is You this year. That has been the top Christmas song for the last decade. I think she makes like $3 million on that song alone every single, not even just holiday season, but the year. So there is a clip of her, and she is going on tour, I believe, for Christmas and she usually does like a Christmas special, and I think she's doing like a limited tour this year, and I saw a clip of her on the internet, and I think she recently performed at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles. And her daughter Monroe, so she has a set of twins with Nick Cannon. So the daughter sang with her on stage, and honestly, it was the cutest thing ever. I didn't know that she could sing. I think she's 11. All the celebrity babies, I feel like the original babies that came out forever ago, like Gwyneth Paltrow's daughter, Apple, and I remember people were outraged by that name. Now it's cute and quirky, right? Cute and quirky is the new thing, but sometimes people go a little too far, I think. It got me thinking about all the celebrities who put their children in their performances, and I was thinking about how J-Lo, she did the halftime show recently, and her daughter was in it. I believe is probably 11 or 13, something like that. Beyonce is currently on tour, and Blue Ivy, her daughter, is now 11, which I remember when Blue Ivy was a baby. Blue Ivy's 11, and she's one of her backup dancers on her current tour. I also saw the internet was criticizing Blue Ivy and calling her dancing lackluster, which she's 11 years old. And also, I saw a clip, and she freaking killed it. She looked amazing. So people are just hating. So one, people are just hating. And two, I can't even believe being that young and performing for an audience that massive. The pressure must be unbearable. While I'm on the topic of celebrity kids, Northwest is also around that age now, I think. And I haven't seen the new season of The Kardashians. I think they're on Hulu now, but Northwest makes appearances, and it's really funny because a good plot line of the show, I believe, is her just roasting Kim. And I think it was this last year she went to the Met Gala and she wore this like pearl outfit that was very reminiscent of when she did her first Playboy cover. I believe she was nude, and she just had all of these dripping pearls all over her, and in the episode she was freaking out. She thought she looked more nude. She wanted to be like, hello, it's Playboy. She thought they were going to Photoshop everything out or whatever. But so she wore something to the Met Gala that kind of reminded me of that. It was a dress and it had all these dripping pearls all over it, and there's a clip of Northwest basically telling her it looked like costume jewelry. It was a joke, and I think it's so funny. It's kind of like Kim's karma that she has a child that checks her, because I feel like she had a lot of attitude as a child too, and I feel kind of bad for her on one hand, but on the other hand, it's really funny. Speaking of Kim, I haven't seen this season of American Horror Story either, but I feel like it's getting pretty good reception. And I also saw that she just got picked up for a Netflix comedy that's coming out, and she's going to be starring in it. So she must be doing really well. You get it, girl. Her brand Skims also was just announced to be the official NBA, WNBA sponsor. So they're going to be making all the underwear for the NBA and the WNBA. And I believe they also did the 2022 Winter Olympics as well. Who would have thought a shapewear brand would become so massive? And say what you want about the Kardashians, but they are business moguls. I feel like my iPhone just randomly decides when it has full storage. I just cleared out so many photos, thousands of photos, and I had to download them all individually, and my phone just said storage full, and that's made up. I'm sorry, but that's all I have for this week, so I'm gonna end it here. I hope everybody had a great week. Do you have your Christmas tree yet? Do you think it's too early? Let me know if you have some Christmas movie recommendations, because I'm gonna be watching them all week. And until next week, I will see you in next week's episode. Bye, guys.